back to my channel. Today's video is going to be on something a little more serious. I just figured I would share with you guys my postpartum depression that I went through. I know that that's a subject that not a lot of people talk about, and it should be talked about a lot more. It's something I definitely never thought I would have an issue with. So if you're interested in hearing my story, please keep watching. So I just thought I would share my story about what I went through after having Alicia. She is my first child. I am a first-time mom, and this was something I completely did not expect. I've heard about it. I know it's supposed to be common, and there's becoming more of an awareness about postpartum depression, but it was definitely just something I didn't think would affect me. And I will say that I definitely did not have it to the extent that I know a lot of women do get it, but I was definitely affected. I would say I had some issues for about 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. So my postpartum depression didn't actually start until a couple weeks after she was born, which I didn't know that could happen. Oh my gosh. Hair everywhere. Postpartum hair loss is a real thing. So it wasn't until about 2 weeks after I had her that I started noticing I wasn't feeling right. I didn't realize that that's how it could happen. To me, I thought I was fine. The first few weeks I felt fine. But after 2 weeks of having her, I randomly at night started feeling very upset. I don't know how else to describe it, just upset. I would get this weird feeling like I just needed to cry, and I didn't feel like I knew why. I would just literally feel like tears wanted to start coming down my face, and I couldn't help it. I just felt off, and it would happen every evening at the same time. It was always around 5 or 6 in the evening that I just started feeling funky. And I didn't really know what was up. I kind of started feeling anxious. And I honestly can't say that it was like some huge lack of sleep, because she was a pretty good sleeper, to be honest. I didn't feel like I was losing that much sleep. So yeah, a couple nights go by and I just still felt really weird. Every evening around the same time, I just wanted to cry. I felt sad. I just felt this overwhelming sadness. And it's kind of a sadness I've never really felt before. I couldn't even tell you why I was sad. I just felt sad. And I just needed to cry. But I held it in for a few days. I'm like, this is so weird. Like, what's going on? And, you know, days go by and it's not getting better. I'm still just feeling the same way every night. And I just had to let it out. I just started bawling, and I just told my husband, I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm so upset. I just feel like I need to cry, and what's wrong? Like, I felt kind of embarrassed. I'm like, I have this beautiful new baby. Why am I so sad? During the day, I'd be fine, but in the evenings, I don't know. I just couldn't help it. And I just told him, I'm like, is this postpartum depression? Because I have no reason to really be this upset. I remember sitting and having my beautiful baby, and I not in any way felt upset about her. I was so happy when I would look at her. Like, my sadness didn't come from her. I did not feel like, oh, I don't love my baby, I'm not connecting. That wasn't an issue. I connected with her, and I loved her. She made me happy. I realized that I think what I was starting to feel really sad about was my normal routine I had been used to with my husband, and how much that had changed. I feel like it was the life change that was making me really sad, that things were never going to go back to how they used to be. Not that I even want a life without my daughter, because I do love her, or at the time I loved her. She made me happy, but it was like that my life had so drastically changed overnight. I think that just made me like unbearably sad. I kind of tuned into that. But even after realizing what it was, I still was sad every day. And I told my husband, I'm like, I think it's this postpartum depression. So we looked it up and it was like spot on postpartum depression. It said it can take usually 2 to 3 weeks after giving birth before you start feeling anything. And that's exactly what happened. And that it could be the same time of day every day that you start to feel off. And it was, I swear, it was like 5 or 6 o'clock, like clockwork. And so during the day, as that time would approach, I would dread it, that like I knew I wasn't going to feel right. It was hard because during the day, it's like I knew what was coming. I knew, and I, by about 4 o'clock, could start to feel myself get into this funk. By 5 or 6 o'clock, I just was holding back tears constantly. Literally, physically, tears would want to start streaming out of my eyes. And eventually, I just gave into it. I told my husband, I'm like, this is postpartum depression. We've looked it up. I just need to talk every night. I need to just cry. And I did. So every night for like 3 weeks, I cried every night. And I would just cry. What's wrong with me? Why am I like this? I don't understand. Like, why can't I just feel happy? I want to feel normal again. And I just remember feeling that. Like, I just wanted to feel normal. I wanted to feel happy and enjoy that part of my day. So yeah, I just let myself cry every night. My husband was super supportive and very patient with me. I just had to allow that to happen. And it was so weird because I would cry uncontrollably, like ugly cry uncontrollably for like 15-20 minutes. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'd feel better. Like, weird mood change. I would just completely feel like I let it out. Like, I had to just let it out. Alicia, I just had to let it out every night. I had to just let myself cry about the change in my life and feeling sad, and then I'd feel better. You know, it was just the weirdest thing. But like clockwork, every evening, same time, this overwhelming dread and sadness. I know that I had a very, very mild case of it compared to how some women do have it, but I just feel like I need to share that experience because I know other new moms and I try to share that with them. Like, hey, you know, if you feel off, it's okay. You know, just, it's good to talk about it. It's good to share this experience so that if other moms are having the same thing, they don't feel alone. Like, I really didn't expect to feel that way after having a baby. And I think that's why I was so confused for a little bit. Like, what's wrong with me? And it took me actually doing some research and realizing, like, oh my gosh, this is verbatim the definition of how postpartum depression is. But yeah, I know that many women have it much worse. They have a hard time bonding with their child, and it lasts much longer than that. But I do feel like I significantly went through it for a couple weeks, and I made it through. Eventually, I just started feeling better in the evenings, and it stopped. But I just do urge, if you are feeling anything like that, let your doctor know. It's really good to have a support system. If you have your husband, significant other, anybody you can talk to about it, do it. It really helps. I feel like when I talked about it and when I let myself cry, I felt so much better. And so my word of advice would be, talk about it. And I did. I made sure I told everyone close to me, like, this is how I've been feeling, like, and just telling people and being open about it, I feel like really helped me to just get through it and feel better. But definitely don't keep it in. It happens to more people than you think. It doesn't mean you're a bad mom. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It's a balance of a complete life change overnight, lack of sleep, and hormones. Mix all three of those. Like, how could I not feel off? You know what I'm saying? So I just took it easy on myself, and I realized this doesn't mean my skills as a mother are any different. But I'm just so glad that I never felt an issue with her like I know some women do. I felt like when I looked at her, it did make me feel a little bit better. So yeah. So that's my story about dealing with postpartum depression. It was really hard for about 3 weeks, but then it just went away just about as quick as it came. And I just urge you guys, talk to your support system, whoever that may be. Cry, allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to talk about it. Alicia! And it will get better. And if it's not getting better, you need to talk to your doctor and figure out what you can do to help yourself. Alright, you guys, I probably better get off because this little one's about to probably start fussing. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to my postpartum depression story. I hope some of you can relate and it can be a little bit of comfort for you. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.